We need to talk about 10 separately.
Well, so just, the next agenda item is the municipal solid waste, ordinance, franchise ordinance. So this does grant them an exclusive franchise for residential solid waste service and dumpster service. It does not include roll-off service like before. There's several roll-off companies operating here in the city, so, it does require that any residents or any businesses have to use Waste Management for their dumpster or their residential restrooms.
Hindsight tells me we should have included. We're there now. What I didn't consider when we voted on this to remove roll-offs from the exclusive part of the contract was now we are the home of several roll-off dumpster companies.
100%.
So the unintended consequence. Just for future.
Hindsight's always 20/20.
But the only other change, there was a couple changes in the ordinance. It just were changed due to changes in the agreement itself. The old agreement had Memorial Day and Labor Day as holidays. They chose not to ever take those, so they would find service on those days, so we just took it out of the new agreement and the new ordinance. Made it match. And then the new ordinance also has the, I think that's really the only, no, I think that's the only real change. Back up the agreement, the agreement also included 8 additional roll-off dumps per year that we can allocate for, cleanup days. We pretty much go through our 48 with Triple Shredder days. Triple Shredder days and Christmas tree, knock out those. There's been some interest in possibly trying to do some more cleanups. This gives us 8 40-yard roll-off dumps. So I pick one up from the Triple Shredder site, put it where we're going to do a cleanup and put all that back in.
Did they burn, speaking of that, did they burn the bid estimate?
They've been smoldering. They're too wet, they're just smoldering.
All right, anybody have any questions on that? All right. Okay, our next discussion, I'm gonna cut this discussion off at 6:25, because I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of discussion later. So in the 10 minutes we got left. The last thing will be to consider all matters related to approving, authorizing and posting notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation on resolution 2025-007. So, if the one page in here that explains it really well, that Craig put in here, is we have 2 options on the table. And I think that in our last 2 discussions, somehow everybody's got this 8 million twirled in their head and forgot where it went or how it happened. But let's just, option 1 is to issue $25.5 million for the purposes outlined in the resolution to purchase a ladder truck for street improvements, which would be $15 million. And then you add the $8 million for utilities. Now, the $2.5 million and the $15 million for streets would be a tax increase to pay for. The $8 million for utility improvements would be paid for by utility revenue, not by tax revenue. We got it? Option 2 just takes that number to 33 million when you add the 8 for the utilities. So it goes 2.5 million, 22.5 million, and 8 million. That estimated property tax rate, so the estimated property tax rate for 17, and so we'll call it 25, but 17.5 tax rate. Is that saying it right?
Yeah, tax supported.
7.433 cents approximately. And then on option two, of which, of the 33,025,000 would be tax supported. That would be 10.918 cents approximately. We won't know that exact number, but it's pretty close. Questions, comments?
I would just add, we do have Jennifer Ritter here from Specialized Public Finance, who is, of course, with our bond advisors, and they're the ones that carry out these sales and stuff, so if you have questions about that process, she's here to answer those, and try to answer any other questions.
So we can go first. There'll be some discussion, I'm sure.
Yeah, 10 minutes ago. Jennifer, I have a question regarding, when we decide tonight, say we decide for option two, we're $33 million, because we're not going to do this with any type of, we discussed town hall meetings and getting communication out there, expressing what the need is, what's gonna be done with this money, all of those things. We're not gonna have the time to do that. So when we do publish this, we're going to receive some feedback. If that feedback is indicating, hey, we're not comfortable with that amount, is it possible at some point in that process to reduce the amount to a lower amount?
No, that's a great question, and so on the numbers that you cited, I think it's actually probably a little bit lower on the tax rate increase. We may have had some older numbers that we ran a while back in terms of it. Like, I'm looking at just 25 million, 100% tax supported, and it's 6 pennies, so if we take out roughly a quarter of that, we may be closer to 4 cents on the 25 million. Increase in INS over your 1225, and that's using a $1.6 billion preliminary AV, which is not certified yet, of course. But to your question, so if council wants to move forward, the timeline tonight would have you discussing that in the regular session here. You will authorize a project list, a date that you'll approve it, which you set up for August 5th, and a maximum do not exceed amount. So to your point, should you decide between now and August 5th, hey, we don't wanna do all those projects for whatever reason, you can go under what you authorized tonight, you cannot go above. So it gives you time between now and August 5th to downsize, you just can't go, you can't do more.
Understood, okay.
And we talked about in one of the meetings, if you all wanna do some kind of town hall thing, throw this out there and discuss it, we can try to put something together in later June or early July. You know,
When did you say if the drop dead vote on it before we could do this? To get it done for fire truck, et cetera? You know,
We're
there's a
already on
certain
the
date.
clock, right?
Well, that,
on the truck and stuff?
yeah, well,
You need-
on the
Yeah, we're on the
whole, because it's packaged. So is tonight, are you saying tonight is?
Well, tonight is just the intent.
Correct.
You won't actually vote to issue the bid until.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, when, in August?
August is when you would actually,
When you.
but if you wanna reduce the amount, you have to do it before.
I get this.
What you said is, what you said to get Charlie, what he needs is, we gotta start the clock tonight. If some reason it went all the way down to just the fire truck,
Yeah, we have to
You're
proceed with
staying.
the pop truck.
you gotta proceed with the fire truck, so you gotta put it on the clock tonight.
Yes, sir.
But we have options, and that's what we wanna make sure, we have options to lower it.
And to the city manager's point, you know, August 5th is the drop dead date, that's when council actually obligates itself, tonight you're not obligating yourself to anything for
That was my
notice.
question.
August 5th, you obligate yourself, but we do need about a week before then to publish the official statement and get investors ready, so really, you know, call it a week prior to
So
August
if
5th.
you wanna lower it, you can't wait till August 5th. We have to have a meeting before we say we wanna lower it to this.
So I would say, yes, I would like to have organized town hall meetings before we issue this level of debt.
You put a plural on that, I'm gonna say, you're not gonna get, we've already seen how that went in school.
I agree, and I think it's due diligence, I think it's prudent, it's not, do I feel like we're gonna have a lot of people show up? No, I've been down that road.
I agree with Jimmy. I think you have to do it in order.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying you don't do more, I'm just saying when you put a plural on the end
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it,
I think it,
you might be sitting there looking at each other for 2 or 3,
Well,
because if you just had one, it said, okay, let's go.
I personally would feel much better sleeping at night after issuing this kind of debt, knowing we
We
put
tried.
it out there, we asked for the input, and you obviously elected us to make that decision. So that to me has to be a part of the equation.
I agree.
I wanna know the difference. So you said that it's 7.433 cents, sounds like too much, and you were
I think
more
that-
at 4 point.
I think that was one of the older numbers, so we had run 25 million, not backing out the 8 million for utility. 25 million by itself on your preliminary values that came out from the appraisal district in April is 6 pennies just for 25 million. So
Without the
if we
eight, yeah.
back out the 8, it's gonna be closer to, 4.5, somewhere in there. Now, this is a preliminary interest rates, preliminary
Right,
values may
right.
change.
But if we did the,
I also calculated a little bit higher interest rate. because
Okay, that
When I
makes
was
sense.
putting this
Better safe.
together, there were things going on where I was like,
Yeah, you may be right.
Yeah.
I like to give them worst case
On the,
scenario.
on the 25
Comes
million,
back better.
on option 2,
That's true.
what rate are you showing?
The interest rate?
No, the tax rate.
Well, so on the 25 by itself, not backing out anything, I'm showing 611. And on the 33 million, not backing out anything, I'm showing 875.
But we need to back it out to get a number.
I hadn't run that yet. I didn't know how much you were backing out. So I'm just guesstimating in my head that you probably take a quarter off
Yeah.
that.
Roughly 2.7,
Somewhere in there. Say it again, sir.
roughly 2.7.
So you're somewhere around 8 cents.
Yeah,
Feels
for the
better.
bigger one.
Feels better.
Difference, yeah.
But if it comes back at 10.
Right, you're
You
like,
didn't
that's
hear-
why I
you didn't hear
started
it,
like
you didn't
this,
hear it.
yes.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
I
No,
think bottom line, I'm as a citizen, this is to be interested, what's this gonna cost me per year? That, that we had that sample, does that still remain true? Is that?
Well, that's
still
based on
the
these
figure-
numbers.
Well, figures you gave us before,
Yeah,
for this much, it's gonna be 200 a month, 200 a year.
yeah,
This could be.
these
40.
numbers match what you saw last meeting.
Yeah.
And again, I did add a little bit higher percentage rate than we originally
I didn't
talked
know you
about
did. Yeah.
because,
Another estimate high.
there's a lot of things happening out there right now beyond our control that things can suddenly change very quickly in the market, and if we're already locked in to do a sale, and suddenly.
I like the
So
way
I like to
it's
give you
framed.
worst case scenario, and hope for best case scenario.
Y'all would go down.
Expect the best, hope, plan for the worst, expect the best.
My opinion, we should go for the 33,
Hope for the best.
give us the option, go lower, come to that point in time. But along with Mr. Rogers' suggestion, I'd like to see two town
Two town
hall meetings, two town halls. I don't expect to see more than 2 people in the audience, because that's pretty much the normal turnout for anything we've ever had.
Yeah.
But
Well,
maybe
there's
only
probably-
2 people
But
there.
with two town halls, you
Gives
give
them the
them
option.
2 opportunities to
Two
learn
times.
what's going on.
I think
That
people are
is-
on high alert right now, we'll probably
That's
see more
transparency.
turnout.
It's transparent.
We
Yeah.
need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, what days are you all available, 2 days are you all available?
In the summer.
Probably can't do anything quicker than,
none of the previous town halls had everybody, every council member.
yeah, but we need at least a quorum there. This is a council town hall, not a city staff town hall.
Okay, so, we
Any way to couple it with the date that we're already gonna do here.
Knock it out, one council meeting and a
Just
town hall
saying,
meeting.
without scheduling the.
No, I would not do a town hall meeting here. If you're gonna do a town hall meeting, you need to do it out somewhere. The other challenge would be finding a location. I mean, I think we could probably do both at a school.
We should do it at the, junior high.
That's where we did
Yeah.
it last
All
time.
right, let's go back
let's
there.
just go ahead and put a whole
Put
bunch
our
of-
best foot forward, right?
Uh-huh.
That's the first
Alright.
one.
Okay. All right, let's save the rest of the conversation for that, because we don't wanna get started on something here. So it's 6:25, so let's adjourn, and then we'll come back to this. In the meantime, maybe you look at your calendar while we're sitting here for a minute and we'll discuss.
You have
insulation, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, ADA issues.
Yes.
It's a,
I'd have to pick them
we'll
up.
see, July. I'm certainly done with,
All right, 6:30, we'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum of 6 with just one missing tonight, so to get started, I'd like to get Jerry Harrow from the Gathering Robinson Lutheran Church up to give us our invocation.
Mayor, Councilman, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the work for the city. I appreciate it. Let's join in prayer. God our Father, creator of all things, we thank you today for life, for health, for material blessings, and for this city. We know that all of this comes from you, your gifts from you. We also thank you for our government and the laws enacted to protect citizens. Help us to daily recognize and enjoy the freedoms of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that we have, freedoms you've so generously given us. We thank you for the citizens of this community, people who work each day to make a living, and for those who are retired. We boldly ask that you bring peace to our community and to this country. And where that peace is absent, please restore respect and grace and mercy to all our conversations and interactions. Please be with the mayor, the council members, the staff, the police and fire departments, and all who give their time to serve this community. As the people's servants, give them discernment to know the best course of action and the courage to do what is best for the people living here. Give them wisdom in governing and conflicting interests during those conflicting interests and issues. Give them clarity on the true needs of the people and the overall community. And help them to work together in harmony and unity for the good of all. And please reconcile any disagreements that occur. And I also ask you to protect them and their families, both physically and in heart and mind and soul, as they carry out these duties as public servants. And give them joy in their tasks. We pray for the agenda. Please give them clarity and a boldness to do what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around Robinson. We commend this time to you. Thank you for hearing and for answering our prayers. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Present.
here,
Here.
Here. Here.
here.
The city invites citizens to address the council on any matter, including items on the agenda, except public hearings that are included on the agenda. Comments related to the public hearings will be heard when the public hearing starts. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. The council is not permitted to take action or discuss any item not listed on the agenda. When called to speak, please state your name and address. And if speaking on a specific agenda item, state the item before beginning your comments. Ms. Vaughn from the chamber.
I am Linda Vaughn, President of the Greater Robinson Chamber of Commerce, and I thank you for the opportunity to come and address you tonight. I always like to come and give you announcements of what we have upcoming, so you can prepare to go and be a part of that, and we welcome you to do so. First of all, our next monthly board meeting, which is an open meeting and open to the public, will be on June 10th here in this very room. We meet on the second Tuesday of each month at noon. So if you'd like to come and sit in on that, you're welcome to do so. Our next quarterly luncheon date will be July 31st at noon at Cajun. And the speaker will be from MCC on corporate training. On July 7th, kind of backing up here, we have a special event with Fox KWKT. Some of you may have actually even been contacted about this. They're going to do a program called Our Town, and they're going to do 4 cities, and Our Town, Robinson, is the first one that they're going to do in that series. We're excited to have them here to learn more about our community, to show our community in a positive light to
to the other communities surrounding us. On July 17th, we will be having our annual membership banquet fundraiser. We are currently selling tickets. We have sponsorships available. We're looking for silent auction items that can also be used in packages for our casino prize winners. So we'd love to have anything that you'd like to donate. If you have something, give us a call or email us, and we can take care of whatever your needs are there. We'll also have a collaborative luncheon with the Bellmead Chamber of Commerce on September the 10th at noon at the Bellmead Civic Center. We'd love to invite y'all to come out and attend that. That's not just for board members, that's for members and community as well. And also we have established September the 27th as our First Responder Appreciation Day this year, and we will be having that at Peplo Park. So mark your calendars and come and enjoy that and help us appreciate our first responders. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda. On the consent, we have 3 items. Item 6, approve the minutes from the May 2025 City Council regular workshop meeting. Number 7, to approve the agriculture lease with Benny Stinson for the lease of 200 acres of land, with approximately 100 acres being part of the tract of land being part of 314.11 acre tract conveyed to the city of Robinson, Texas by the deed recorded at volume 1707, page 627 of the deed records of McLennan County, Texas, and approximately 100 acres from the tract described as 118.718 acres of land located in the C. Ocampo survey in McLennan County, Texas, being that same land conveyed by the warranty deed to Doy Baker by deed recorded under the clerk's document number 20020454423 of the official public records of McLennan County, Texas, and later deeded to Doy Ratliff Baker Jr. by warranty deed recorded under the clerk's document number 20150400570 of the official public records of McLennan County, Texas, property tax ID number 158250 at an annual fee of $8,500. And number 8, approve resolution 2025-006-R, review and approving the written investment policy for the city of Robinson. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda items.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have moved on. So first thing on the regular agenda, we discussed to approve an agreement with Waste Management for the provision of solid waste and recycle services for the city of Robinson, and authorize the city manager to sign the contract. Any other discussion besides the discussion that we already had? Any questions not answered? Can I get a motion? That's all right, go ahead.
Jumped the gun. Motion to approve an agreement with Waste Management for provision of solid waste and recycling service for the city of Robinson, and authorizing the city manager to sign the agreement.
Second is motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay. Man, who decided to write all this on all these tonight? Golly.
I would say you don't have to say all this when you make the motion.
You don't have to say it all. I gotta read it, but then they don't have to say
Yeah.
it.
Like
Okay,
I
I'll
tells you-
read it and then you can just say.
Tells you after.
I will,
Yeah, just
gotcha,
approve
okay.
ordinance
As
number-
written in our packet.
Okay, so I'm gonna read it and then somebody can pick it. Got it? Here we go. Approve of solid waste ordinance 2025-015, granting Waste Management of Texas, Inc. an exclusive franchise for residential accept roll-off services and residential collection of recyclable materials within the corporate city limits of the city of Robinson, establishing the term of the franchise requiring that all occupied residential and commercial structures in the city be served with solid waste collection and disposal services, and subscribe thereto, prohibiting any person other than the franchisee from conducting or attempting to conduct the business of solid waste collection and disposal services within the city of Robinson, except for commercial roll-off services. Establishing the rates to be paid by customers, including of franchise and billing fees, approving a municipal solid waste agreement between the city and Waste Management of Texas, Inc., and incorporating the same herein. making violation of the ordinance an offense punishable by a fine not to exceed $2,000, and making each day of a violation a separate offense. Expressly repealing and replacing section 16-29 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Robinson, Texas, repealing conflicting ordinances or portions thereof, including conflicting provisions in Chapter 16 of the City of Robinson Code of Ordinances, providing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. Motion.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance 2025-015 as read.
Second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Way to go, Paul.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Happy
Happy
early anniversary.
anniversary.
Yeah,
Next month.
next month.
All right, and here comes our discussion. So, consider an act on all matters incident related to approving and authorizing public and posting of notice intention to issue certificates of obligation, including the adoption of resolution 2025-007-R pertaining thereto. Right. Who wants to pick up where we left off? So, here's what I hear from you. We gotta, we need to decide option one or option two. If I understand what you said correctly, if we pick option two and start at the top, we have all the way till right before the end to reduce that if something comes out of these town halls or we decide to move that number at any direction,
Lower.
except up.
Lower.
Except up.
Move it down.
Yeah.
At your discretion.
Okay, is everybody in agreement with 2 town halls?
Yeah.
All right, here comes the date. We can't leave here without figuring this out.
The date for the town hall?
Yeah, because we'll never get it done while we're doing something else.
As far as, I mean, again, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays are good now, but most people aren't. I got a vacation
Can
into
I throw a
June.
couple of weeks suggestion out to look at? Because we have to have time to locate facilities, make arrangements.
Exactly.
I will be gone the last week of June.
Same.
So,
Okay, that one's out, so moving on. Is everybody here? How much time do you need?
I mean, we're gonna have to try to find locations that have it.
So what's the soonest you would wanna do one?
Well, I was gonna say the last week of June, but
First week of July?
I think
You
I
can
think
hang
we
the
could
first
do,
week of the-
I think
well-
we could do the third week of June. We
Okay,
could try to get one then, and then maybe the second week of July, because a lot of people are gonna take off that week of July 4th.
Uh-huh.
They plan vacation.
oh yeah,
from
because
July
it's on
4th.
Friday, everybody's gonna disappear there.
Uh-huh.
But that way, if you do the second one, say the 8th or the 10th, and you get the feedback you want, we can always have, now there's only one regular council meeting in July, but we can hold a special meeting on the 15th, and you can decide on an amount. So that should give you, so 15th of July give you plenty of time
Yes.
for the official statement and all that, if they decide for a lower amount. So,
Okay, let's back up. Let's back up to the week of the 16th,
17th is out because we have a council meeting, right?
okay?
18th is not good, you said, for Wednesday night, so it leaves Thursday.
Wednesday night is church night for a lot
That's what
of
they said.
people.
It's
Either Monday
not-
or Thursday then.
Okay, so let's, anybody, okay, so let's go down to, anybody not good on the 19th of June?
Me?
That is a holiday.
This-
That's a
It is a
holiday.
holiday.
That is a holiday.
Is that,
So that's out.
So
It's
you'll
not
be out?
it's
You'll
not a
be off?
city holiday.
It's
I'm
not-
off.
It's a federal holiday.
Yeah, well, some cities, but
You're
they're
off?
It's not our holiday.
correct, but there may be others out celebrating a holiday on that day.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Monday, the 16th,
Monday the 16th.
I'm out.
okay?
Well, again, I think if we could at least get 4 of you at each one, and maybe every council member attended at least one.
Okay, hold that thought. Let's say we had everybody, then let's see if we can get on the second one, if we went to the 8th.
I'm good.
I need to check one date.
8th
I'm
of
not
July?
positive.
Yes, it's a
That's good
Tuesday.
for me. I'll be back in town on the 6th.
Okay.
Well, that's a city council meeting, isn't it?
No, city council meeting's on
No,
first.
We're
Sorry.
only having one then.
My bad. Yeah.
Let me find.
My calendar said it was.
Both-
It's
both
because
of y'all?
it skips
Possibly.
every other
July
week.
Yeah, I'm good at
good.
8, yep.
Okay. Okay.
My
Are you
repeat.
okay if we do the 16th without you?
Yes, I'll be coming home from Omaha, so I mean, I might,
So we both miss the 16th.
Yes.
We'll both be here 8.
Okay, so we'll have, and we got Jay, so there's at least 4 of us for the 16th. Plus, we don't know where Jeremy, we might have him too. Then the 8th, it sounds like we got us all.
yes.
Everybody, correct?
June 16th, July 8th.
June 16th, July 8th. That's the,
Town hall.
I'm trying to, I want to be here for both. I have one date in July I can't seem to locate.
So we would have only one person out on Thursday, the 19th?
2,
2? No, well, I mean, Monday, the 16th.
Monday the 16th.
2, but
Yeah.
what about Thursday, the 19th? How many people would we have out? How
We
many people?
decided against that because of
It's
the
usually-
holiday.
It's a holiday. It's a federal holiday.
Are you guys here?
Yeah, that's not a city holiday.
Yeah.
People are off.
Unless you work for
That gives them
Woodway?
no reason to be here.
One of some cities take it. Not all.
I was so surprised Jimmy's off.
It's not July 4th or anything.
Okay. All right, so any objections on those 2 dates as we have said? I'm not going anywhere yet. I'm just picking things one at a time.
I have not gotten an answer back on that. I can't find it on
Okay.
any calendar. But yeah, let's proceed and I'll,
Okay.
We're gonna be traveling a lot, so I'll need to run that by Karen to make sure I can be here on the 16th. I think I can, but I need to give her that consideration. And, if I don't, I won't be able to stay at home for that week, you know? So, I will have to do that before I say yes. If you want me to go out and call her right now, or I can text her.
Oh.
Because we need 4.
I'm good on the
Yeah.
16th. It's the
so
15th
I'm for
that
sure
not
good
actually.
16th.
So you're good on the
I'm good on
16th?
the 16th.
Okay.
I am not on the 8th, but, yeah, so I'm on the 8th. 16th is good.
So the only where I know to, if you want to be at both, I'd say the second option would be the 10th of July.
What's wrong with the 7th, that Monday?
No, I'm
Nothing.
You're gone?
I'm gone that whole week, so.
You're
my
gone the
thought
whole
is-
week.
My thought is this, if we get enough for 4 on the 8th and do it, you know.
So
we'll make it-
everyone was here for the 8th, except Jimmy.
Except me.
So we'll have everybody except Jimmy.
It'll be the one that everybody shows up to.
Well played.
Well, that way at least one of you survives.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll be the designated
You'll be the
survivor.
mayor. The designated,
Chief.
literally.
Larry, y'all writing these 2 days down? We're gonna need plenty of coverage.
Everybody's wills are updated.
Yeah, plenty of coverage. We're gonna need a few patrol cars out.
Extra security.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're gonna put down 2 town halls, June 16th and July 8th. Okay? All right. Next, decide option 1 or 2.
I would say I'm comfortable moving forward with option 2 for 2 reasons. The ability to lower the amount taken if we do get feedback indicating that. And the fact that the rates that Jennifer discussed tonight are a little more palatable. So I feel comfortable. I mean, I've been playing devil's advocate in this thing, on this
Oh, I
thing in
can
my
hear your
head
head
for a
right now.
while. And, you know, absent a lot of people saying we don't want this, and I'm talking outside of the Facebook crowd. I'm looking at Craig and I talked today, and I think in 8 years, Craig, this Sense of Street program, we've spent, what was the figure on streets?
So we've spent, so we started with, we talked about that, we started with about $30 million worth of streets. We've spent between 12 and 15, and now we have like
40 plus.
40, and that doesn't include right-of-way acquisition and some of that kind of stuff.
So,
So the
in
price
8
keeps
years-
going up.
In 8 years, we made no headway in terms of dollars. Now, in terms of mileage, yeah, I think we could argue that. But in terms of cost, the kick the can experiment reared its ugly head again. So that's why, I mean, I'm okay going up to this bigger number, because the, getting out of the proverbial pothole, we can't do over time.
Pun intended?
Pun intended. We can't get out of it
So-
if we don't take an aggressive action. Now,
I agree.
We're gonna have to get in this meeting though, and one thing is gonna have to be addressed in these town hall meetings, and Craig's gonna have plenty of work to do, is the question's gonna become, why aren't all these businesses gonna pay enough taxes that we can fix our roads? And
Which businesses would that be?
all the new,
No, it's already started. You know, why isn't Walmart gonna pay for our roads? Why isn't this gonna pay for our roads? Why isn't this gonna pay for our roads? And, people don't understand that this, we already don't have enough funding. Just take streets, for example. How many people did you tell me the street department's short right now? Four?
We could
But we
probably
only
easily
have
use
four.
4 more.
Yeah, 4 more, and at the current condition of our roads, we really need 1,000,003 or 4 versus the 600,000 that we have.
It's about 700,000.
So if we spent the money and fixed the roads, that 600,000 would go a whole lot further.
should come down, actually.
Yes,
The
to
need.
handle, because somehow we have to get everybody to see, understand, and know that we're putting money on roads that were long gone 10 years ago, and we're still throwing money at them.
So
No, it's longer than 10 years.
what do other cities
I
do
was
in
trying to be
order
nice. I was trying to be nice.
to articulate that to where normal citizens could understand? I mean, yeah, I know.
So-
Is there a company we could,
So the opposition is just gonna, it just be a flat, no, don't tax me opposition.
right, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think we
That's
can
gonna be
clearly demonstrate the need. It's been 40-plus years that we've been trying, and we're talking about the same streets, same roads, and we haven't done anything significant. I think the street plan that we have come to under Craig is effective in putting a quality street down, but we can't do it fast enough and keep up with the cost of construction. So that's the reason for the aggressiveness here. Plus, the streets that we're talking about, I'm stealing Craig's thunder here. We are talking about arterial collectors. These are streets everybody drives that everybody will feel. I got throat punched at a crawfish boil this weekend over streets and had about a 20-minute conversation about our plan and what we can do with it, to find out the guy doesn't even live in the city.
Oh,
So
Just practice.
everybody knows that.
Just practice.
I'm gonna ask that first now.
We gotta start with that. Yeah, all right. It's a shorter conversation.
Everybody wants to kick in on Robinson Road.
Yeah, so-
I've talked to people from China Spring everywhere, and they're just, they know everything about our situation, so.
Well, I
just
mean,
I let them talk.
It's a well-earned
See ya.
reputation for roads. I mean, we.
For sure.
So this is a significant impact, and Craig and I were talking about maybe 50% of the actual roads, so we're not gonna fix everybody's road with this money. So the other opposition is, why didn't you get mine? And so
Yeah.
I support going out and at least taking this step to option 2 with the town hall. And then, I think that we have to champion this if we really want it. We
yeah,
are
but
gonna have
almost
to
like
champion
a
it.
presentation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, almost have to prepare for it.
That's what I'm saying. That we
Yeah.
got to bring, no, we already know what the questions are. We need to
Right.
bring the answers.
Right.
Right.
If we could pose on you, Jen, right, if you could work with us on coming up with these figures, such as, I like the bottom line scenario, right? Which one was, if we go this much, it's gonna be this much per year, right? If we go this much, it's gonna be that much per year. If we go the whole thing, then it's gonna be like $350 per year for an average household, or valuation of $336,000 for that house. Follow what I'm saying? I
Last-
think we need to be prepared to answer people's legitimate questions, as what's been said, so that people understand what we're trying to accomplish. We owe them that, and I agree with you, Brittany, and you, Greg. and
We
you,
had a
everybody.
graphic at the last town hall meetings
I
that,
like a
that
slideshow.
talked about this, and so it was an easier talking point. So definitely, I will say, and this is just on a side conversation that Charlie brought up some points on. How do we select what roads? And I want to be emphatic about this. I think it needs to be staff-driven and engineer-driven
Oh, yeah, we, yeah.
What, are
We
there
need
already
nothing to
studies
do
we
for
with
stay
that,
out
on
of
worst
that
roads and how
process.
traveled they are?
Yeah.
completely.
But there was like the
Yeah, like a
Travel
scientific study,
volume or
don't
something.
we?
Well-
As I understand, okay, so I've been here 6 months now. As I understand, you and David or the street guys, y'all are the ones that come up with what you do
Yeah,
and how it gets in line.
They go out and rank the streets, so they have a street ranking, and that original list I sent you had the streets based on their current ranking. Now, what we did is, I did pull out all the collectors and arterials, because those roads are traveled on. Everybody uses those roads to get around to their neighborhoods and to the store and everything. And then the others are ranked by how bad they are, and that's how we did the first round. I mean, we still have a lot of bad streets. There are no streets today that were as bad as most of the streets we've taken off the list.
Yeah,
As bad as they are, almost all the streets we did were way worse than what we have today. That's not saying we have good streets today, but just to put it straight, like Emberwood, Brewster, Meadowbrook, those streets, I wouldn't drive a personal vehicle down those roads. They were horrible. You were on the council, both of you, when we had that meeting out there.
Emberwood, 5 miles an hour, and you
Yeah,
were
I mean-
in danger of hurting yourself in the vehicle.
Brewster, you might walk from one to the other and find 3 spots that had asphalt on it still. I mean, it was terrible. Curves had completely sunk, covered over. We had to,
maybe we should get those maybe we have pictures in archive that we could be like, hey,
Right.
Yeah.
this
What I'm
wasn't
saying-
that long ago.
The
But we
program was highly effective in the product that we put down. We just lacked the funding to carry it all the way.
yeah, when
But back-
COVID hit.
But back to what you said about the selection of these streets in this town hall meeting to get rid of what people think, because what people think is what gets most of the discussion in trouble, is that we have something to do with which streets are selected, and that is not.
Yeah,
That's as far from the truth as you can get.
Right.
And we gotta be able to tell these people, and understand that this is a city manager taking his employees, going down all streets, ranking all streets, and they decide who gets what.
I was doing my level best to explain that particular point while shucking crawfish, and those are 2 tasks that
Sounds
don't
spicy.
mix. But my thoughts are, we proceed as option 2 with town halls, and
Okay.
be prepared to, this is gonna
Oh, it's
stir
gonna
at the
be,
hornet's nest. And
So what's the ranking tool that you use to rank them? Like a matrix? Is there some?
Yeah, they have a guide that they go out and they look at the street condition and they give it a numerical ranking
Okay.
based on the pavement condition, the type of surface and all that other stuff. Now, one of the things we are looking at doing is taking more of the chip seal streets that are more traveled and converting those to asphalt streets, because chip seal is one of those things that has to be done every 5 or 7 years, so you don't use bond money for chip seal streets. But they have a pretty good cost. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking about, we did Cooksey year before last, and I wanna say that was somewhere around $90,000 to get the county to redo that road.
What was the
re-chip
distance
seal.
on that? Was that a mile?
It was probably a little bit more than a mile.
are they still only doing a mile per city a year?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
they'll do a
fair.
little bit more if you have a little bit more, but the problem is, even though that was done 2 summers ago, not last summer, the summer before, there's sections of that road that the chip seal's already disappearing. We've had to go out and Durapatch it. We're gonna go back and put a second chip seal over top of it this summer to preserve it. But, so those chip seal streets just add to your annual maintenance cost. And a lot of these streets are too traveled. You know, I've told a couple of you, we have 9 collectors and arterials that north of Moonlight, which is where the majority of our population, our traffic and everything is. Those are the roads that everybody drives on to get to and from work, to and from school, to the highways and all that other stuff. And 7 of those roadways are chip seal. So, you know, we have these developers come in and they wanna put in new subdivisions, and a lot of our open land is off of Gregg, or it's off of Stegall, or some of these streets. And they go out there and they're driving down this old beat up chip seal road that has
Patches
multiple
everywhere.
Durapatch patches on it, and they're looking at, you know, do I wanna come in this community and invest $20 million in infrastructure to build a residential subdivision? And that's what they drive on, so
all that
Not only does it
information
improve
you're,
everybody, but it improves the ability to attract rooftops.
all that information you're giving us now, Craig, we need to summarize that, I think, you
Yeah.
do. Because we're dependent on you. We don't know that. We don't do the day-to-day
You live
operations
here
of
your
this
whole
city.
life.
Yeah.
I haven't been there.
I always
I
like
didn't
when
get an
you-
invitation to show
When you
up on
mention
that
how
day.
many miles of road Robinson has versus
You know.
all our other towns, that's always like, I'm like, oh my God,
It's north
we're
of
so,
120 miles.
right, versus Midway or what, Woodway.
yeah.
It's insane, but people, I definitely didn't think of it that way until you said it that way, and I'm like, oh, that's
I mean,
a good point.
So can we do this? Can you get like so that the council can have just a tad bit of input over what we just said, maybe 3 or 4 days before or a couple days before, kind of send out a preliminary of, here's
I'll
what,
have something for the next meeting.
here's what we can talk about, here's the points, here's the focus, here's what I'm bringing. Is there anything I left off that anybody would want to add to
Yeah.
that?
I'm not gonna recreate the wheel here. I'm gonna go back to the
You
presentation.
definitely already have it all, yeah.
And update them.
As long as we give people a reasonable explanation of what we're trying to do and why, and give them enough information, a logical, reasonable person would say, yes, we need to do that. That's what we're looking to try to do. We're gonna get the people, the kickback of the people that are gonna agree to nothing, and they're gonna say no to everything. That's gonna happen in any city you're in. But I think we need to just give them the logical facts. This is why and this is what, and here it is. And with your help, Jen, as I was saying, you can help us with the numbers and to crunch the numbers and make sure that the numbers we're giving them are, this is it. This is within a few pennies anyway, or dollars, whatever, reasonable amounts. And then I think reasonable people go for it, and we can substantiate and validate as to why we want to do this. And that we do owe that, I believe, to our citizens to be transparent and to explain to them, why are you deciding to spend my money? It's not that much money. When you look at it, this is per year, not per month. $100 a month, or $200 a month, a year, or $300 a year. So the difference we're really talking about is going from 25 to 33. And the difference in that is like from 200 and something a year to 300 and something a year. So really, that's what we're talking about. Are you willing to spend $100 a year on the average house of 336? It's pretty simple. House valuation of 336,000 to improve the streets that we've been delinquent on and for derelict on, not everything else, forever. So, and I say yes, $100 a year, not a month, $100 and some odd dollars a year. Almost nobody can afford that, in my opinion. And the ones that can, if they're living in a lower valuation house than 336, well, they're not gonna pay as much anyway. So, I don't know, I'm not for kicking the can down the road anymore, and I'm with you guys on that, and I think we need to educate and inform, and be willing and ready to give answers as to why we're doing what we're doing.
Well, that's what I
I would
said,
want
we need
that
to
as a
do.
citizen, so I want that for those.
That's why I was very adamant that we need to come with the answer to the questions we already know are coming. So,
Agreed.
over-prepared, basically. So, reasonable and logical. That's what we're looking for.
Well, I'm prepared, if you're prepared to receive one, to recommend that we approve resolution 2025 am I jumping the gun?
No, go,
Get it?
go.
Dash
I'm impressed.
007-R, approving and authorizing publication and posting of notice intention to issue up to $33 million in certificates of obligation. With a caveat, if we need to add that we can lower it if we deem necessary.
There you go.
Is that
Second,
adequate?
I got a second from Finn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we've started down the road,
Well, we have.
literally.
Okay, I do have a question though.
Yes,
Not
sir.
about that.
No, go ahead.
Craig, you said there might be a meeting on July 15th? We might have an emergency
Well, I
meeting.
said that if you decide, after the input, you wanna have a meeting to lower the amount, we
Okay.
We would
need
have
to-
time
we would
to
need to
have
have one
one.
that week, cause we don't have a regular meeting scheduled second.
Okay, I just wanted to write in my policy.
So what, yeah, cause I think Craig said if we lower it, you gotta have enough time before August the 5th to,
Yeah,
Correct.
cause they have to,
Change
they
the
bring a
paperwork.
official statement that says this is, cause when, on the 5th, they will go out and sell the bonds that day, and then you'll come and approve the sale. So they can't come out that night and change it, cause they've already put it out there to the investors, so.
All right, I just
They need a little bit of time to go in
Okay.
and
Thanks.
finalize that official statement. And And we'll have bond reading calls and all this other stuff between now and then that staff will have to do. There's a lot of work goes into this, and it's budget time, so.
Oh, good, so we just doubled your work, you're
So,
welcome.
yeah. So I'll probably just propose the current budget again, and everybody will just
Yeah,
operate
yeah,
off what they
yeah.
currently have. We
Yeah,
don't need
'cause
to increase.
prices aren't
anything.
going up, yeah.
She liked that, you
Keep
liked
it
that.
even.
Jen.
Yeah. Copy, paste.
That's pretty fun. Okay, all right.
You
does
gotta
any-
do survive.
Does anybody have any additional things they would like to discuss for future meeting? Not that this is not plenty enough for us for
Right,
the next
just
couple of
one.
months. Okay, with that, 7:05, we're adjourned.